I know you are, but what am I? Hope suddenly decided to die on the hill of whataboutism as she made Lyon's connection to Steffy her reason for tonguing Thomas. But if you really want Sutton, try Sheila's out-of-nowhere trial that ended faster than you could say David Kimble. Point the finger with 2 scoops, Mike. Welcome to USA 24, my dream channel. Have you had a brave and lovely week? Did the speeding bullet of Superman's divorce papers get left in the dust? Did a renowned nanny simply chance to be available when you unexpectedly needed one? When you kissed your husband's worst enemy, did you Pee Wee Herman your way into getting away with it? The Forrester Logan Spencer Finnegan family dealt with all of these circumstances this week. Holy whataboutism, scooters. Nowadays, it's more common than ever in politics to deflect criticism by placing the blame elsewhere, but Hope must be taking special lessons because she quickly identified Steffy as the reason she kissed Thomas. The 4-month Thope-a-thon was broken up by the detained Sheila, but was her release more difficult than her trial? Let's scoop the news. A shady, bare-ideally lady. I came across a photoshopped meme last week on Facebook that combined Thomas' visage with Greg from the Brady Bunch and Hope's with Marcia. And to me, that single image perfectly captures the essence of the Thope enterprise. Even though Greg and Marcia spent only a portion of their childhoods together, our stomachs would flip if we unexpectedly spotted them getting hot and heavy in the Brady attic. Thope is not in the least different. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. However, many fans have gotten on the Hope and Thomas train as if it weren't traveling along somewhat incestuous rails because the program constantly suggests that they are, or should be, a thing. No matter how you look at it, B&B has been trying to ship these two off since 2012 in one way or another. Did he have to be Hope's more often than not stepbrother if she needed to get worked up about another man? Even if one were to acknowledge these strong ties to the Brady family, it would still be impossible to ignore all the ways Thomas used deceit, gaslighting, agony, and stalking to harm Hope. Don't even mention the brain bleed crap to me because Thomas quickly returned to his old ways following his purportedly remedial surgery. Will Thomas change? Sure, but you don't get sexually attracted to that person. Rather, you maintain a polite distance while appreciating their progress. I am aware that it is a soap opera, that there must be drama, and that shady relationships only serve to heighten the soap operatic scandal. However, Hope and Thomas are repulsive together. That phrase has probably never been used to describe a B&B arc. However, here we are. If Hope is going through a mental breakdown, as I've speculated, then this week's rationalization for her acts took on Grand Canyon proportions. We'll get to that, though. Brooke first barged into Katie's, who was now Thomas' bedroom. How is it that other characters have bought their properties out from under Katie and Wyatt, leaving them both homeless now? Similar to how Taylor had her own child with Bill in 2011, Brooke had caught her daughter in flagrant delicto. Bill was, at least, only married. Even Slut from the Valley Brook found Hope's boofing of her stepbrother to be too much. Although Logan tried her best to prevent anything from happening between Hope and Thomas, Hope affirmed that she had seen divorce in Liam's eyes. That is a novel idea. Hope was furious because she realized she needed a guy who desired her and her only, and that she had already pardoned Liam for far worse offenses than a mere illicit kiss. You had it with Wyatt, yet you still dumped him because of your affections for Liam, sweetheart. Wyatt attempted to deliver Lope to his brother, but even Mr. Solar Shower had to question whether Steffy was the cause of Liam's want to shut off Hope's faucet. When Liam disclosed that he had kissed Steffy not once, not twice, but on 2 different continents, you could almost hear Wyatt's eyes rolling back in his head. I'll give Liam one thing. He acknowledged that his loose lips were dumb, stupid, and wrong. Finally, when even Ridge questions whether you visited Steffy's well once more, that's when you know you have a reputation. Ridge thought Lope could recover, though, because Hope had merely had a silly kiss with Thomas. Ridge wouldn't be able to tell from inane kisses, would he? Ridge is the authority who still put Brooke through the ringer for her one kiss with Deacon last year, whether it was because of his 35-year-old bed snatching from the married Caroline or his more recent liaison with Shauna. Keep quiet, Ridge. Stop talking and just stand there looking dapper. Do not use my name out, that's my name. Hope requested Liam's presence via text message so that they could speak. Hope also wanted to talk about some nonsense that she had taken out of her purse along with the divorce papers that she had obviously not had time to prepare due to her binge sexing with Thomas. Hope expressed her certainty that Liam had already rushed to Steffy with bitterness. Liam did, to be sure, but how could she be so certain? However, Hope hadn't finished using the Steffy card. Since Hope claimed that Liam's unrequited love for Steffy were the reason she had kissed Thomas, she really pulled out the entire Steffy deck. Whoa, what? Y'all, dat bish gave it a go. Liam was astounded and reminded Hope appropriately that Steffy had been unimportant for a long time. He couldn't believe Hope had justified kissing Thomas in the past by blaming Steffy. Although Liam isn't always the chandelier's brightest light, he gets great credit for that. What in the world is this coming from all of a sudden? Forgetting that Steffy met Finn not long after Hope and Liam were married in 2020 and that Steffy hasn't given Liam any attention since, Hope continued to whine that Steffy had been an issue for their entire marriage. Well, there was that whole incident later that year when Liam lied to Steffy about a mannequin and the paternity of the unlucky Hayes. I could understand Hope holding some grudges over that, but that doesn't suffice to explain why she wants Thomas, especially considering that it never came up during Hope's fawning over the past few months. Hope had already taken off her wedding ring, which appeared to underscore the fact that Liam intended to divorce her because he no longer knew who she was. So they signed the divorce papers in the same room where they got married, and Scott Clifton and Annika Noel enjoyed a lovely silent scene as they ended their Douglas-officiated union. Wherein all of this is Doug. I see, are you still here? Opinions were spoken when word of Hope and Liam's separation spread around the Forrester universe, including that poor RG who spent this week's airtime switching shirts. Even Grace, Paris' mother, had more to accomplish in her first few weeks than RG did in the 3 months he was away. He played no part in his parents' reunion, has no potential love interests, and has accomplished nothing on his own. What purpose did it serve to bring him back? With Finn's actions being limited to doctoring and playing doctor with Steffy, one could nearly argue that, at least he was able to console Kelly after she had a nightmare about Daddy. But which father was she referring to? Finn or Liam? Despite having sympathy for Liam's failing marriage, Mr. Liberty Biverty didn't want Liam to spend too much time with Steffy when he was in the midst of a mental breakdown. Play some Tom Petty, because it just so happened that Steffy and Liam met at Il Giardino, where everyone goes to get a bite to eat after being almost fatally shot. Appetizing. It was necessary for Steffy to concur with Liam that Hope's use of her as justification for kissing Thomas was ridiculous, and Liam amazingly made a commitment to Steffy that he would never do it again. Examine whether Waffler 2.0 adheres to that. It would be simple to overlook the fact that Liam controlling Steffy's lips twice may still have seismic effects. Hope has no evidence other than her suspicion that Liam kissed Steffy. When Finn learns what Steffy has been hiding from him, he'll likely require Sheila's defib paddles once more. What will happen when Liam learns that Thomas told Hope she was getting a divorce? Hope spoke with Wyatt, another misunderstood person who I knew would eventually tell Hope about Liam and Steffy's cross-country kisses. Wyatt probably couldn't say anything else after hearing Hope say that Steffy was the reason the Thomas and Steffy kiss had to happen. Why is it never mentioned on the show that Hope and Wyatt were married? They always act as though they don't have a real connection. Hope acknowledged to Liam that she had been deeply affected as a kid by Ridge's conflicted allegiances, the way he constantly switched between her mother and Taylor, and she intimated that this was what had been motivating her in regards to Thomas. I'll give B&B points for examining Hope's motivations for her behavior. This does not, however, excuse Hope's decision to side with her stalking stepbrother over Liam. I'm about to send Hope back to Milan personally, at ground level.